Good. There's a lot of questions coming in. Ah. Hi, my name is Nikki, and I am the Master Cool Sculpting here at DermaTouch RN Houston. I am super excited about this live virtual event right here, guys. And I want to thank everybody personally for joining. And the questions are already coming through, which, man, y'all really know how to just hit me with your best shot on these. All right, so I'm going to try to answer everybody's question as they're coming in. Please, if I don't get to your questions, I'm not hard to find. You can always schedule that complimentary consultation, especially by texting the word cool as well, which all contest winners that are staying to the end, I'm going to remind you, you'll be notified of via email, whoever wins, and the winners will receive. One is going to be a free Botox treatment with 64 free units. Another one is 4 free applicators, which we call cycles, to treat any body area that you would like, or the $400 off of 2 body areas or more, and a complimentary bottle of our TNS Advanced Serum, which is the absolute best. If you're going to use anything, it's the TNS Advanced Serum. All right, so right out of the gate, by the way, I want to again thank everybody for attending. First question, how effective is CoolSculpting Elite for stubborn fat, and how much fat reduction can I expect? All righty, great question. So CoolSculpting Elite treatments are very effective. I always tell people when they ask me, does it really work? You know, believe it or not, I do get that question quite a bit. And I always respond with, if it didn't work, I would not have a successful job like I do. A lot of my clients that I have, especially over the years, have been through referrals because of how pleased people are with their results. I try to do my, 100% best and delivering treatments and putting realistic expectations on what goes into CoolSculpting Elite and how we do treat and what you can expect. So, and you can expect about 20 to 25%, okay, of fat reduction per treatment. So next question, what do you offer for skin laxity after the fat has been reduced? Well, again, depending on how much laxity you are starting out with, right, before treating any type of body contouring, but especially with CoolSculpting Elite, which is FDA cleared for tightening skin with treatment. So as long as we don't have excess laxity, I know over time, right, especially with GLP-1s becoming a big factor in today's weight loss with a lot of clients that we do see, that is going to play a lot into age, and B, when something's going rapid like that, we're going to see more laxity, right? So yes, we will have tightening with treatment, but again, if you're already starting off with a lot of laxity, I would have to visually see it in person, right? But it's not going to be that surgical tightening that we will see. Again, there's a lot of factors that do go into that, but it was a great question. Would this treatment be good for loose skin and for rapid weight loss? And again, this is not a weight loss treatment. I always want to remind everybody about that, because of the fact that, a lot of people do lose a couple of pounds when treating with CoolSculpting Elite, but it's all about the inches, right? We are treating that subcutaneous fat that sits on top of the muscle, right? So what I always say is that's our cotton ball fat, okay? That's the fat that shows the most out of your skin, shows the most out of your clothes, but weighs the absolute least on the scale portion, right? It's all about the inches and how well your clothes fit. How many treatments are recommended? Another great question. Treatments are always going to be done twice, regardless of the amount of volume. The reason for that is that 20 to 25% fat reduction we get within each treatment visit. We have to wait a minimum of 30 days to retreat the same area. We can wait a little longer if needed, but we just can't wait any sooner than the 30 days to have that same area retreated. I always tell everybody that, you know, the before pictures of that first treatment, when you come in, we take detailed pictures of all angles of the body area, then map it out in the mirror so we know exactly, you and I both, where we're treating, where we're placing, so there's no confusion, right? Then after that 30-day mark, we bring you back in, we do the exact same thing on the pictures, right? So I always want to visually go over them with you when I have your first picture and then your second picture side by side. 9 times out of 10, I treat 3 times. The reason for that is that I've been doing this treatment a very long time. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. That third treatment is just the cherry on top when it comes to the result that everybody is wanting, right? And that ultimately you deserve. Great question. When should I do a maintenance treatment? And I always tell people, you know, this isn't like a one and done treatment when we're having a treatment plan, right? I have some clients that love, you know, their results and they want to take it further, right? After the 2 to 3 treatment mark. And that's fine. My job is to get and debulge that top layer of that fat, knocking it out. Now, if you want to take it a little bit further, and if I think we can, then we will. But, you know, I'll always give me my best recommendation. As I always think of the in-game result, right? If we're not going to see that big of a difference in that next treatment, and to be honest, then why are we retreating in that area, right? Let's come up with an alternative. Another thing that I love about treating with CoolSculpting Elite, after we get that top layer of subcutaneous fat done with, right? And we can pretty much a lot of times see a little bit of that muscle tone, right? It is so great to complement with a cool tone treatment. I love giving people, you know, demo samples after their CoolSculpting treatment, especially on that ab area. It just, again, takes that great result to a perfect result. I love it, love it, love it. When can you start to notice and see results? So again, you know, depending on the area as well, right? But we should always start to notice a difference, right? In that 4 to 6 week mark, okay? Again, I take very detailed pictures every treatment and put them in a digital side by side so we can both see the changes being made. But 4 to 6 weeks is typical when you can start to notice a difference. Full results come in 90 days. Great question, though. Is it permanent or will the fat come back? This is one of my favorite questions to actually get, because here's the thing. No matter if it's surgical contouring, whether you have liposuction, tummy tuck, non-invasive body contouring, you can always gain weight after treatment. The difference is it's going to look different for some people, right? We do not grow new fat cells. And I that's kind of hard to believe with some people. We do not grow new fat cells. And you're like, Nikki, how does that happen when I'm getting bigger? The fat cells that are in your body when you do gain weight. So fat cell gaining weight, see how it expands? It doesn't grow a new one though. And that can go same. Again, I've been doing this treatment a very long time. I Love when I get my surgical contour people that had a liposuction and tummy tuck over 15, 20 plus years ago, right? They always gain weight naturally. Everybody always is going to gain a little bit of weight. But over time, with those clients that I do see, I always say it looks like almost a kind of like a rippling, right? Where you get these little fat pockets in these areas. But since they removed a lot of that skin as well, right? It's very tight, but you can still see it. Just expands outward. Looks different when you haven't had surgical skin removed. And I always, put stress on it, guys. Like if you're going to invest in doing any type of contouring, whether it be with myself or in a surgery room, right? You always want to be mindful of, what health conscious decisions that are going to make your results last, because ultimately that's going to be up to you and how long you wanting it to last. But no matter how healthy we are, how healthy of a lifestyle we live, a lot of factors do go into that, especially as we do age, unfortunately. That's just the reality of the game. And with that being said, sometimes no matter a healthy lifestyle, those stubborn pockets of fat in the chin, the arms, the bra fat, the upper back, flanks, abs, banana roll, which is that little part under the glutes, inner and outer thighs, even knees, abdomen. Like there are so many things that, everybody, including myself, have, a little bit of a, issue with. My whole thing is if you're going to invest in this, invest right and be mindful. A lot of times the hormones do play a big, big part of it, especially with age. And, it affects us differently, especially with the workouts and all that. And that's where you see a lot of these GLP-1, people have a lot of success, right? But unfortunately, with a lot of the GLP-1s and weight loss medication comes a, factor of muscle loss. And, again, cool tone is my personal favorite treatment, especially to give and to get, because of the fact that not only are the results pretty immediate, especially, if you're slimmer or more of a fit, body type, it really, really impacts that muscle where it just stands out and becomes more defined, not only more defined, but stronger and firmer of strengthening that muscle, which is very effective, very effortless. 30 minutes is all you need. No sweating, no fighting through the equipment and all that jazz. It's very comfortable. There's in my opinion, it's one of the safest things you can do on the contouring side for muscle tone and firmness and strengthening, because the only two major contraindications with that treatment is going to be metal in the treatment area or pregnancy, right? We don't want to ever do that with somebody being pregnant, but afterwards, yes, we can all day. Love it. How many treatments come in a cool tone session? 2 or 3? Well, actually, 8 come in a package treatment with cool tone. It is meant to do every other day. Again, very easy, very effortless. All you got to do is lie there and let your trainer, like me, strap you up and let the workout begin. But great question. Oops, sorry. Oh, they're all coming so fast. So I'm not sure if this works for a turkey neck. Well, when a lot of people call a lot of different things, especially when it comes to turkey neck, I guess, which in my opinion, what turkey neck means is like hanging excess skin, not less necessarily so much of that fat volume in that area. And if that's the case, I would say there's different alternative treatments than treating that with CoolSculpting. Because if there's no volume in that area with fat, I'm not going to personally treat it, because here's the thing. I never want to make an area a concern after treatment, or make a new concern out of, correction, fixing one, right? So I'm not going to treat something that doesn't have volume in it and it's just black skin, right? Even though it's great for tightening skin with treatment, again, the purpose of treating with CoolSculpting Elite is permanently getting rid of that stubborn pocket of fat. And it has to be fat. If you can pinch it and move it, I get really happy about that. So a lot of people are asking about pricing, and pricing is a great way to start out with knowing your options of which way to go. And that's why, again, everybody should text the word cool at the end of the live Q&A, because we can do a virtual from the comfort of your own house and ask me everything, and customizable treatment plan. So you'll know the price, you know the difference of the area price, and how many treatments you do need. But you always remember, you always need 2 treatments. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. Great question. So upper arms, another good question. Can you give us pricing in various places like upper arms or tummy, and how many sessions does it take? Again, always 2 sessions, sometimes 3, maybe even 4. Guys, everybody is different. Nobody is going to have the same exact treatment plan majority of the time, right? Always 2 treatments, at least 30 days apart. We can wait a little bit longer, like I said earlier. But Allergan, the makers of CoolSculpting Elite and everything we do here, right? We're a huge Allergan provider. They totally changed the pricing about a year ago, okay? Which in my personal opinion is a lot more affordable, a lot better, because the pricing goes by the area. It can range from anywhere to $199 to $499. So again, the best way to know where to start is booking that complimentary consultation and finding the exact pricing and the treatment plan that fits you, and determine if ultimately treatment would be right. It's not only about, deciding on what treatment to go, it's deciding on the provider as well. But nobody can touch me when it comes to my before and afters. They are pretty amazing, and I like to show those a lot. Let's see. How many procedures on average to see a difference? Again, that's very different and based on the person as well. I can definitely tell you in a personalized consultation. I have been told I am a good candidate for a thigh lift. Would this be a good option rather than something so invasive? Again, I don't want to say yes or no, because I want to actually see that area to determine if my treatment would be a right treatment for you, if you do have that volume in that area, and how much laxity is in that area as well. But again, ultimately determine that, I would have to see the area in like over a virtual consultation or an in-person consultation, which they are both complimentary. So great question though. Just sorry, apologize. So this one, does the treatment also help with muscle definition? I'm not quite sure if you're talking about CoolSculpting or Cool Tone, but Cool Tone, yes, for a fact, takes that definition and just amplifies it up. Okay. And it's pretty immediate too, depending on how defined you are starting off with. Again, book that complimentary consultation so you can find out more. So, how many treatments can you do on chin? Again, that does vary on person to person. Typically, when I can't get it, if I think you're going to need way over 4 or 5, again, I'd rather just table that, treatment conversation until a later date and time. this is not something that you want to keep continually doing over and over each month, every year, right? If that's the case, there's something that is either visceral with the area or there's not enough volume, right? Because as long as you have that volume that sits on top of that muscle, that sub-Q volume, which I call cotton ball, because it's the one that shows the most out of your skin and clothes, but absolutely weighs the least, then, we can't treat. And again, I want to treat everybody, right, that I ever come into contact with in my consults as well, or just speaking to. But unfortunately, that's just not the reality that, I live in or we live in, because I always want to think of the result. And would I personally be happy with that result, right? And again, if I don't think I can get you to where you want to be truly, I just rather not treat. That's the reality of it. But that's, again, a great question. Cool Tone, does this help with firming muscles at all or just reduce fat? Well, again, CoolSculpting Elite is for permanently getting rid of those pockets of fat, right? Cool Tone is for firming, toning, and strengthening the muscle, right? Which Cool Tone, I will have to say, just like any muscle we do have that we, see a person with a six pack or great legs with, the what do you call it, a cobra head calf or anything like that, eventually that does go away, right? There's only so much we can do with keeping that muscle tone and looking like that without doing something to enhance it, like Cool Tone or working out. And again, unfortunately, a lot of people can't work out, if they sustained an injury and they got to strengthen their core. And, this Cool Tone is a great, great way to do that, and very effortless. I love saying that because it's again, one of my favorite treatments. Is it painful? Cool Tone? No, not at all. Sensitivity does vary from person to person when it comes to CoolSculpting Elite, in my personal opinion. And I can speak for a lot of people that have done the treatment as well. Probably the most sensitive part about the whole treatment is the massage that we have to do at the very end when we take off the applicator. It's very important that we do that. It's only for about a minute or two. But again, I've never had anybody quit or not come back because of it. So your areas do stay numb. I would say the stomach does stay numb the longest, probably about 3 to 4 weeks. Again, it should not bother you. It just feels really funny when you touch it. Great questions, guys. Can anyone get this procedure? If I have had previous liposuction, would this still work, or would I still get the same result as well? I love treating people that had surgical contouring, and everybody knows that has had body contouring surgically that I personally treated. The reason for that, it's almost like everything goes back to that original state a year from the surgery, right? It just picks up so beautiful. And in my opinion, it does go a little bit faster. I don't know why for it. Again, I don't, it's just something that I've seen for over the many years I've been doing this treatment. But yes, if you had liposuction or tummy tuck or any surgical contouring, you are still definitely a candidate. Again, book that complimentary consultation. Is it safe for use around the breast implants? CoolSculpting, I would say yes, especially in that raw fat area. I've treated a lot of women with breast implants over the years. We're not actually going over that area, so there shouldn't be any contraindications of that. Something that I always want to go over in any consultation is, the, hardcore knows, like, do you have a hernia in your abdomen? If so, that is going to be a hard no of treatment, unless we can get clearance from a medical doctor that oversees you saying that it's corrected. Again, we never want to make a situation worse, and we always want to do safety first here at DermaTouch RN, regardless of any treatment we do. Also, would you ever take a look and say, I can't fit, I'm sorry, guys, went a little bit too fast. When can we work out, play golf again? Well, I never say I can't fix something with Cool Sculpting Elite. But yes, I do have to say no sometimes because of the fact that, if you're wanting something I know I can't realistically give you, I'm not going to treat. If there's not enough volume there, if there is volume that is just a lot right in that area, let's try some alternatives to eliminate that first before treating. And that's just with any treatments what we do here. We do so many things and everybody is so dedicated to their craft that we can always put you on that right path of where you need to be on treatment. Any downtime, we can go to work or work out, play golf again after treatment. Yes. This is one of the best things, honestly, guys, about this treatment. This treatment with Cool Tone, especially, and is with Cool Sculpting Elite. This is meant to keep you going throughout your daily activity, throughout your day, going to work, being a mom, being a best friend, going out with your girlfriends, playing golf, working out. I would always say give your body at least 24 hours to rest after any treatment. But your own limits. But that is one of the best things about this treatment is continuing about your daily activity with no downtime. I can personally speak from experience in saying that, I've treated everything except for my arms and my chin. I felt really sore, like I did a hardcore workout for about a couple of days, especially on that second to third day, I would say, but nothing that, helped me back from coming to work, being a mom, going, to workout classes or anything, even though I don't work out. But again, the best way to find out options, again, and that includes pricing and how long treatment time is. Again, another great benefit for this treatment is it is so customizable to each and every person that nobody's going to be the same hardly, right? Different applicators do take different times. I would say around the 2-3 hour mark is typical treatment time though. But guys, we're wrapping up. I want to thank you all again. I hope I can get through a lot of those questions. Again, we can always set up a virtual consultation or in-person consultation, completely complimentary, to go over those things I didn't quite get to touch on. Or if you just really want to know, like, hey, how long would my treatment take? What are like realistic results really looking like, especially like somebody for me. I love showing before and after pictures. I have a ton and ton, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, 13,000 to be exact, before and after pictures that we like to show just to get you visually expectating on what a realistic result ultimately looks like. And, if you like it, let's rock and roll. And, I want to say that this treatment, if you know your placement and you have an experienced provider, there's no reason why this treatment should not work for you. Again, book those complimentary consultations. All winners are going to be entered into the drawing for the winners of one winner of 64 units of free Botox, one winner of 4 applicators, which we call cycles, to treat any area you would like, and $400 off any body area 2 or more, and a bottle of TNS Advance. Again, 3 winners are going to be chosen, contacted via email. All right. I hope to meet all of you guys soon. It was so good to do this again. And I hopefully we will meet in person or meet through Zoom. Bye, guys.